Good morning. Welcome to Books at the Bottom of the Stairs. My name's Lorene. You might ask yourself, what is Lorene going to speak about today? And the answer is books. I'm very excited. I'm wearing earrings, lipstick, a necklace, because I am going to my annual book shuffle event. This is something that ladies, friends of mine from one of us thinks that we've been together for nearly 30 years, which is impossible. I've only lived in the city for 25 years, but anyways, let her have her story. We've been meeting for over 20 years, I would say, and fairly quickly on, we came up with this event where we would have a sort of pre-Christmas luncheon or dinner, depending, and we would trade books. And initially it was just, oh, I don't want this book anymore, do you want this book? But then it's grown. And what I have in here, oh my God, this is my bag of books to take to the book shuffle. Historically, people are not as interested in the books that I bring as I am in their books. I would say that on average, I bring half my books home, but that's okay. It's part of the laugh. One of our friends goes off to book sales. There's one that the Women's Choral Organization does every fall, I guess, and you can buy books for a fairly small amount of money, and then about 3 or 4 weeks later they've got something called a bag of books, and for $5 you can take away a plastic bag worth of books. So that's how she shops for the event. I think she's completely most of the time unclear as to what the contents of the books are, and she's faking her way through it. So I also take a baggie of my favorite tea, which this year is Bengal Spice. It's kind of a, spicy tea. And I take my note-keeping book, because if there's a book that goes past that I would like to read that someone else nabs, then I keep a list of that so that I can follow up and grab it. So I guess what happens is each of us talks through our pile of books, and all 6 of us go. Some years it can be quite a lot of books. And then the books, we take a pause, and the books go all on the floor, and then we hover like vultures for a few moments, and then someone will bravely start with, does anyone want this book? And we'll all go, yes, I did. Yeah. It's okay, you can take it first. I have a pile of books beside my bed. And then someone else will go, but can you pass it to me when you're finished? And then someone else will go, yeah, can I have it after her? And so the shuffle begins. And then what will happen is one of them will quite often pick up 3 books and then go, oh, I have too many. And then someone else will go, no, you can take more if you want to. And then this kind of dithery, dumpy, crazy conversation goes on for at least 30 minutes. And after that, the books that haven't been chosen remain on the floor for a little while. We have some dessert, and then we pass around some kind of piece of paper that usually gets lost, and you write down your name, and under your name you write the names of the books that you're taking. And frequently I am the holder of that list, which is why it gets lost. And as time goes by, if anybody's switched a book around or so on, then I'll say, okay, Janie, did you get your book back? And oh yeah, I got it back. Oh no, I didn't get my book back. Oh, that's right, I passed it on to Mary. Oh, okay. So the book travels around the 6 of us, and usually by the end of each 12-month period, all the books have been returned. However, I'm really bad for hanging on, and I think last year in particular, I had about 4 books that had been from the previous year that I still hadn't returned. And so then what happens is, when we meet each other over the course of the year, we'll bring back the books while we're having tea and go, oh, I'm finished with this one. Does anyone want it now? And it's always a bit of a disappointment if you're not there on the day that a book is returned to its owner and you had wanted it. So it's kind of up to you to remember which books you had wanted to get in the shuffle and to follow through. And the others are much more haphazard about it, whereas I'm completely aggressive about getting all the books I want. So the other thing I take, now we're down to only 2 people drinking wine. So I have discovered that you can get wine in small bottles. So she and I will each have a drink, but I got an extra one just in case. So, you know, just in case, you never know what crazy stuff might happen. And so someone will bring a main course and someone else will bring the dessert. Someone else brings the salad. Someone else brings an appetizer. And they all know that I hate providing actual food. I'm totally happy to go to a caterer's or whatever and get something like that, but don't ask me to cook. So this year someone had the bright idea of, oh, let's all exchange gifts that come from the kitchen. And I said, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. You guys do what you want, but I'm not going to do that. Forget it. So I don't know what they've decided. I may end up coming back with some baked goods, maybe a steak if I'm really lucky. But I was telling my girlfriend about this, and I was laughing, and I said, you know, we were looking at gifts, and I said, oh, do you think my son might like some tea towels for his stocking stuffer? That would be a good idea. So I popped some in, and then into my cart, and then I thought, well, I could really use some new tea towels too. So I popped another pair into my cart. And then as I was walking along, and I thought, they want stuff from the kitchen. And so I thought it would be hilarious if I showed up with my old tea towels. Wouldn't that be hilarious? I brought you something from the kitchen, my old tea towels. I've got a whole brand new set. So I've laughed myself silly about that for most of the week. But no, I have actually packed up the new tea towels. They're getting brand new tea towels, and it's the closest they're going to get for anything for my kitchen. So this book is one that I'm returning. It's 12 months old, going back to its owner. It's the Everything Under by Daisy Johnson, and it won the Man Booker Prize of 2018. No, it was shortlisted. I actually didn't read it. I really don't know why it had ended up in my hands. It was something that I read the flap and I think, I don't know why I wanted that. But anyway, Steve's read it and he thought it was pretty grim. Oh yeah, this is the other thing that my friends are going to get. I found these little bubble things that you can get, you know, you unscrew them. I had them left over. Phoebe left them last time for, she was here. And we use this for our content-free video. It's not going to work. There you go. My friends aren't really a very jolly group, so I thought they could use a pick-me-up of some little soap blowers, bubble blowers. Where was I? Okay, so the other book I'm returning that one. The books I'm bringing are Tak to Me, which is an anthology of Arctic horror stories, and they're pretty grim. They're pretty scary, and probably no one will take that one because everybody wants light reading for Christmas. They're not really thinking, they're not planning ahead. They're not thinking, oh, this could actually take me 6 weeks or 6 months to get through this pile. Summer Water by Sarah Moss, which I believe I'm not sure if I actually reviewed this or not. I have to go back into my notes, but it's a very interesting kind of stream of consciousness. Oh yeah, I did talk about this. Observation of each other at a campsite where people from different cabins are watching each other but not interacting until the end, where there's quite an event at the end of the book. Me Before You by Jojo Moyes, which I really enjoyed. All of these I'm pretty sure I have reviewed. A Guide to the Birds of East Africa. I have a feeling I took that last year and nobody went for it, but I really enjoyed it, and my one book club really enjoyed it. This is fairly old to YouTube, The Maid. I think it was reviewed on YouTube a couple years ago, and this is about a young lady who is on the spectrum of Asperger's, and she gets framed for a murder. Excuse me. The Whisper of the Night Wind, which is a Nova Scotian author who is traveling up through Labrador. And yeah, I reviewed that just a couple weeks ago. The Book of Eels, which Steve got last year. I have not read it. It's about eels. I don't know, maybe someone will like it, but he enjoyed it. The Marlowe Murder Club, which I think it's better than the Thursday, what was that called? The Thursday Book Club Murder something or other. Anyways, this is quite good. Mystery. And this is also a mystery, Canadian author Susan Juby, Mindful of Murder. And it's rather comic, I thought, and I love her anyways. She's really a great author. And the last one that I'm taking is The Bloomsbury Girls by Natalie Jenner, which is taking place during World War II, and it's a bunch of ladies involved in a bookstore that's kind of fading, and they rejuvenate it. And it's supposedly the women from the Bloomsbury world, but they don't come in really into the story until almost the ending, so I don't really know. They should call it the Next Door to Bloomsbury Girls. That would be a more accurate title. So who knows what I come home with. I don't know which books will be rejected. That's always kind of fun too, for me to kind of predict which books the ladies aren't going to like. So the other things I was going to talk to you about, this little stack behind me. There are in our neighborhood several free libraries where you can put your book in and take something else out, but I have so many books that I have culled from the shelves upstairs. These are all children's books, and a lot of these are little Jean Little, Canadian author, I believe. And so a lot of them are kind of out of date, and then there's a whole lot of early readers, ones which are also out of date. But I think when you're an early reader, you're not that discerning. You just want a book, right? You just want to read through something and practice. So what I do is, instead of contributing these to the little libraries, I put them out on my front porch I'm on the step right by the sidewalk, and just put them out on a sunny day in time for the kids going back and forth from school. And 9 times out of 10, all the books will go. Every once in a while something sticks around, and I just put those then into the pile that goes to the Sally Ann. But it's kind of a fun way to get rid of books. I do that with adult books from time to time as well. Yesterday I put out The Sanatorium, which both my husband and I read and thought, that was kind of a waste of time. But anyways, yeah, so that's what I do with my extra books. If you're looking for what to do with your books, if no one will take them, it's surprising how many people will just pick up a book that's sitting there for free. So that's, I think, a great recommendation. And the table behind me is going to go out too on a sunny day. I bought it. I thought it would be perfect for our house. It's got those flaps that flip up, and it's got the place for magazines down below, but it's exactly the wrong size, the wrong height, everything. It's just exactly wrong. So I'll put that out there as well, and hopefully it will go for a little travel to someone who can love it better. So when I come back, part 2 of this video hopefully will be the books I shuffled. See you in a little while. I'm back. It was kind of fun. We had a really good afternoon, and it's dinner time. I got back around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and Steve's thinking, oh, he doesn't have to do anything for dinner because I've been out festivizing and about. And I said, no, that was lunchtime, man. The tummy is still here. So we just finished a really nice torch-hair dinner. Well, the gang was themselves. We had quite a discussion about whether Home Depot versus Home Hardware versus Canadian Tire was a Canadian company, how good was their service, and so on and so forth. We had quite a discussion about streaming versus Netflix versus Prime Television versus paying extra, and so on. We also had quite a discussion about Elon Musk and what he's planning to do with Twitter, because all of us are not on Twitter, so it's very important that we know. So it's just, yeah, it was itself. All right, what books did I get? Well, the books that got taken, I'm a little bit surprised by. The ones that were a little tense-ish, a little bit creepy-ish, were all taken, and the ones that were soft-ish, quieter reads, all came home with me. So I'm a little bit surprised by that, because quite often at Christmas time, people say, I just want something easy for the next couple of months. What was super popular were a lot of the books that were on the Booker shortlist, and I generally avoid the Booker list. I generally avoid most of the prizes. Most of the prizes are in genres that I'm just not interested in putting in that much work to be left gaping and unhappy, so I tend to avoid them. Anyhow, I did come up with a couple of goodies. I have Truman Capote's Breakfast at Tiffany's, which I have actually been meaning to read for a couple of years. I saw the movie a little while ago. Someone made the comment on YouTube that the book is way better, so I thought I'll give that a go. This one is She Stoops to Conquer by Catherine Balderston, and it is a play. And I just took it because it was a play. I have actually no idea what it is about or when it was produced. 1951 was its first publication, so I think I'll try that. That'll make a good bedtime book. All right, someone else on BookTube is Elizabeth Strout fan. In fact, I think there's a couple of people who I follow who really like her and have recommended her backlist. So, Olive Kitteridge, it's one of those books where I think, have I read it? Haven't I read it? I read the back of it, and nothing is particularly singing to me. I kind of opened up the chapters a little bit to just see and thought, that's not ringing a bell. So maybe I never read it. So I grabbed that, and then I have O. William, which someone said was not as good as the others, but then someone on YouTube said it's better than the others. And I also have Anything is Possible. And then I gather that her biography, My Name is Lucy Barton, is out, but I'm not going to seek that out. I don't know how long it'll take me to get through those. If I like her as an author, I'll plow through. If not, I'll just, space them out. This one I picked up because I was told it was just a good story. The Distant Hours by Kate Morton, and it is about Edie, who's an only child, and 1941, jilted fiance. I don't know why I really grabbed it. The lady who was describing it kept saying things like, this is a really good book. I'm sure that everybody in here is going to really like it. It's really hard to explain. And then she'd pause, and then, it's really hard to explain. And I thought, why don't you just read us the flap? But anyhow, so it was really hard to explain, and I thought I'll just get it because I like the color of the cover. Another book I got that was really hard to explain, but by a different person, is The Tale of Murasaki by Lisa Dalby, and apparently she's really got a good grip on Japanese culture, and she wrote Memoirs of a Geisha, which, again, I'm not sure I read that one. It's not the kind of book I would go for first, but what I love about this event is books come into your hands that you just wouldn't reach for, because there's 6 of us in total, and we're all going for different kinds of stuff. And I think that's it. Quite a few books less than I normally come home with. And the books, usually what happens is as the books get, passed around and someone takes something home, I'll think, oh yeah, I want to follow up on that book. And there were only 2 that I thought, oh, I'm going to try and keep my eyes peeled for that. What was also interesting is that a large number of the books I had actually read, so that was surprising to me. I'm not usually so current and on what's new or recent releases and so on. I'm not usually that up to par. And it turns out that this year, based on what the group is tending towards, there were a lot of books I said, oh, I've read that, or I'm in the middle of that. And so that was just new information. And I will say that of the books that I had read and didn't like, they were almost all shortlisted for some kind of prize or other. So it confirms for me once again that I'm just not a, what would I say? I don't want to say I'm not an intellectual reader, because I don't think that's true. I think that I gravitate towards books that are definitely plot and character headed, and not so much about episodes, not so much about the thinking process or the philosophy, or, you know, I'm still pretty much basically a Saturday morning cartoons kind of person. So I like there to be a beginning, middle, and an end, and maybe a dark hole in the middle. So that's it for me. I hope to have this published up on YouTube for Wednesday, because today's been completely busy. And I hope all your reading dreams and adventures continue to come true. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye for now.